Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm out here looking like Floby-Wan Kenobi, looking like Han Flolo, here to talk about the magic of the sound Om. Now a lot of people are doing this incorrectly, okay? Om is AUM. But a lot of people think of it as OM. So you're not going Om. It's actually the process of Ah, U, and right? So really feeling and extending this. So the first time that I really came across this and started practicing it was last year, December time, where I went through Sadhguru's inner engineering program. And I started really practicing repeating the Om. And what's interesting is, if you ever are familiar with the levels of energy, Om holds a very particular high level of energy. It kind of makes sense why. First and foremost, if you understand a couple of different things about this, it helps you really fine-tune as to how this is helpful. In quantum physics and even in the Vedas, they talk about how every particle has its own vibration. So Om is known as the sound of the universe, the primordial sound. A lot of sages, they notice when they've gone into this deep sense of silence, or when they've blocked themselves out from reality in terms of just really tapping into their own sounds, you start to tune into the sound of the universe or the sound of the atmosphere. We're all born with this sound in the atmosphere. So it's one way when we're actually creating this sound from our own lips and we're taking the self-reliance in our own hands to create the sound of the universe. What we're doing is we're altering our frequency to the vibration of the universe. Though it is temporary, you can also do this in a mental state. So you don't necessarily need to be chanting it all the time out loud. You can also start chanting it in your own mind. And this internal process you can do however many times you want. As in, imagine inhaling, oh, and as you exhale, you right? So just practicing that. You're not saying it out loud, right? I'm just showing you as an example, but you're imagining as you're inhaling and exhaling that the Om is kept there. You're putting your intention and your focus on that sound. Let's say you do this when you're in a crowded place with a lot of different people around you. You can use that mental technique, right? Now, the actual sound technique of the mantra meaning mind instrument, okay, this repetitive, like how you do japa, right? It's like a repetitive motion and a repetition of sound. So as you're doing Om, you'll notice this deep relaxation that's taking place. A is associated with Aw is associated with the navel, the waking state. O is associated with the dream state or the chest. And the is the throat or the sleep state, okay? And if you look at the Om symbol, you can understand this as well. Let's take a look at the symbol and what it means, all right? What is Om? Om is everything. It's the source, it's the vibration and consciousness of the entire universe. So notice this thing which is called, this little dot up here, which is called Turiya, can also kind of be explained as the state of infinite, right? It's absolute consciousness. It can't be expressed by a sound. It just is what it is. And then you have this thing separating that, which we in Hinduism believe is Maya, or this veil of illusion, right? This illusion preventing us from this infinite state. Then we have the unconscious state, or the deep sleep, or death. Then we have the conscious state down here, okay, being awake and experiencing life through the five senses. And then you have the dream state, okay? And it's interesting how it's a circle, right? Because it's a cycle, right? Your dreams feel endless at times, right? You don't know when you're going to wake up. Your experience of the world, without being fully awake or deeply asleep. So now that you understand that, okay, make sure that you're doing it and your breath is expelled as you're doing it. So I'll give you an example of one repetition, okay? Some people also prefer to block their ears so they can really get the resonance of the sound. I would highly recommend that you try that version as well and do it how you feel like you'd find it the most effective for you. I will also recommend something called bee's breath. It's not really Om, but it's just the buzzing and the humming sound, which has a similar effect. So I want to show you this as well, okay? Dr. Evil. Okay. Thumbs and ears, okay? And then whew, that one's good. All right, so that's one repetition. And you want to do this for like 10 to 20 rounds. Don't do it more than 30, but the internal ohms, you can do it, forever. You can do it however many times that you want. There's no certain rule for that. You notice that some people feel their cells are vibrating, or your nervous system is being focused. It can't get distracted because all it's focusing on is this sound. And so it makes the mind very stable. And if you have a steady mind, you're able to receive much more learning and wisdom. When you have a frantic mind, stress actually blocks a lot of learning. And so we don't learn a lot. But if we can quiet the mind, if we can create a stable mind, then you're learning. It's just a great way to, speed learn in a sense. The heart rate slows down. We talk a lot in the flow state about heart rate variability. So this really controls a high BP, and it's dissolved and creates a healthier heart, and also secretions and hormones are all balanced, right? And there's also a hemisphere synchronization happening. So we aren't really like lopsided in our personalities, right? We're a whole being. We're using this holistic way for this sound to activate both parts of our brain, okay? All these muscles, right? The vagus nerve associated with, the parasympathetic system of, rest and digest. So really get us feeling relaxed after we do certain reps of this. You'll feel very relaxed, right? And all those muscles, the throat, the diaphragm, the lungs, the lips, the tongue, the glottis, the navel. Your energy's actually being uplifted, if you notice, okay? The root sound is Om as well. So it's bringing it up from the roots, and it's actually you're bringing the sound up, you're lifting the energy up, right? And it's causing this blood circulation to happen. If you haven't really been moving around a lot, or you feel a bit of stuckness, it really just balances everything out. It harmonizes. Another, mudra you could do as you're meditating this is the Trimurta. Okay, please guys, this is Illuminati, all right? Don't give random symbols and bring this about conspiracy theory into this, okay? This you're not holding it up like this, right? You're putting it down to your pelvis, and you're using the certain systems of, there's certain mudras that you can have, which is very powerful, that can really help you, for different things. But this is the one that I like to use for harmony, okay? Put it down there. And also the ancient sage Vyasa, what he said is that chanting Om is the supreme soul is revealed as you do that. And also, the Buddhist Lama Govinda wrote that it's an ability for us to experience the infinite within us. That's Turiya within us, right? Actually, a lot of people have noticed that when chanting Om, it vibrates at the frequency of 432 hertz. Now, if you know anything about frequencies, right, this is actually the sound of the earth itself, right? The same vibrational frequency found in all things throughout nature. This is the whole debate of, a lot of music. When it's tuned to that frequency, it just feels better to listen to certain music in that frequency. It just lifts your vibration, makes you feel better, right? The neuro hemodynamic correlates of Om indicate, limbic deactivation. So the limbic system is associated with, fight or flight. So essentially, like chanting this will really help your limbic system to deactivate, right? The whole thing creating that fear. You won't feel scared in a sense, if I could simplify it. The vibration sound is felt throughout your vocal cord, and it clears and opens up your sinuses. So if you have a blocked nose, if you have like a lot of congestion, chanting Om has a lot of benefits, cardiovascular benefits, of course, of the heart, as I mentioned, and it also reduces stress and relaxes your whole body. It's also considered to be the root mantra from which all other mantras come from, and to encapsulate the essence of thousands of verses in Hinduism's holiest text. The Vedas, if you can just boil it, all of the Vedas down to one sound, it would be this sound. If you take the dharana, right, which is focus, a skill set that can be upgraded, like you improving on playing a video game, you can improve that skill set of focus, right, with that sound. As you're focusing on that sound, you're basically, you're in the mind of no mind. You create that flow state. Then your sense of self falls away. A lot of people who are not confident, I would say quite a lot of them are egotistical, okay? So a lot of insecurity, the ego is armoring that insecurity and it's keeping it in place. So when you can actually have this moment of inner work and ego death and you maintain that Om, you're actually breaking down, right, the self, the sense of self. And this is why like long-term extended meditation, right, for a lot, can get you to reach a state of psychosis where your sense of self and others vanish, right? It's like everything in moderation. Okay, this is my belief. So again, if you're doing this all the time, it can really start to, get you in a super state of, samadhi or bliss. And samadhi is this temporary enlightenment, but if you do it over and over and over again, it sort of gets you to get into the peak, a state which time and space don't really mean much to you. It can get a bit confusing for you to navigate this 3D realm, right? Proceed with caution, of course. You get this kind of meditative realization, this awareness of luminosity, right? This underlying source of these states. What is sleep? Sleep is just a state of mind. If I tell you to describe what is sleep to me, you describe it? Yeah, you close your eyes, you get into bed. No, you're talking about sleep like it's a verb. You know what I mean? It's a state of mind. You have to let go and allow yourself to go into that state. But what people try to do is like, I'm trying to get into sleep. It's the same thing when people try to get into flow. The moment you said, I have to get into it, you took away the possibility of you already being there. Not so much into sleep, right? Because you can't be sleepwalking and like consciously awake at the same time. But in terms of the flow state, and so practice oming. All right, this is really great for actually one of my friends brought this up, but the fact that if you're having issues with constipation as well, that oming in the toilet can really help you. Shout out to you, brother Ivan. We both took this journey of going to actually be in Sadhguru's presence to learn this stuff. And so, oming has just been such an important aspect of me raising my energy and my vibration at times where I feel like, just like super distracted, super bogged down by 3D physical reality stuff, like handing in things or like, missing an appointment or just like, just like silly little things that we always get worked up over that put you into beta brainwaves, just to, get you into that alpha brainwave, like of relaxed wakefulness. Just oming and just connecting to the universe is a great thing, right? And just being able to appreciate the silence of that Om, and not necessarily Om, you don't have to chant, but just keeping that in mind as you're meditating or just as you're just closing your eyes can be such a valuable essence. And if you take anything away from this video, just please practice it whenever you get the chance. Please leave any messages below. I like to particularly do it early in the morning or right before sleep. I think it's better done on an empty stomach. But yeah, guys, I was going to record a video today, but it did not get recorded, so I thought I would get this one in right before I head to sleep. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you. Whoa, I can control consciousness with my mind. It's funny. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.